Hello, everyone. Welcome to another segment of the Power and Grace Leader Show. My name is Chavon Anette, and I have the privilege and honor of doing another amazing interview with an incredible woman who is thriving in business and entrepreneurship. And so I'm really excited to have her on with us. I started the Power and Grace Leader Show just at the end of December. I was afraid to call it what it was. And then finally, God said, go ahead and call it the Power and Grace Leader Show. So here we are, and I'm really excited. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on up with us Dr. Shamika Dean. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. I'm so excited about tonight's show.
Yes, me too. Me too. So the first thing I love to do is just give whoever I'm interviewing the opportunity to give us a brief bio before we dig into the questions. So if you wouldn't mind just giving us a quick bio, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Absolutely. Dr. Shamika Dean, I am the #1 profit strategist for online business owners and course creators. I'm also the CEO of Next Level Business Academy, which is the 6-figure solution for online business owners. I am a wife. I am a mom of 3, a grandma of now 2. And I guess I'm an author, speaker, YouTube influencer, and that's pretty much all there is to me.
Look, and that's a lot of great things. And you know what's amazing? One of my last interviews was with Destiny, and she literally just had a baby a few days before, and then you just come on, you just have a new grandbaby, and it's just so amazing what God is doing in this season. I mean, it's crazy. God is birthing some new things in this season, in the natural as well as in the spiritual. So I'm just really excited to have you on with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's go ahead and dive into these questions.
Okay.
So my first question for you is, when did you discover your passion for business?
I didn't discover it. I was kind of pushed into it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was terminated from my job after 5.5 years, unexpectedly, without cause. And, you know, I just believe that God allows us to get in those uncomfortable situations so that he can catapult us into our destiny. Yeah. And so that's what happened to me. God had told me to leave the job 2 years prior.
Wow.
But like many of us, I needed a plan B before I trusted God's plan A. Right.
Yeah.
And so I kept saying, well, you know, why? You know, I'm thinking, why would I leave my job? I don't have anything to fall back on or any of that. Little did I know God was putting me in the position to prosper in my purpose. And so again, I went in for what I thought was my annual review. I thought I was going, you know, climbing up the corporate ladder. I'm like, yes, we about to do it. Mama, we made it, you know, and they terminated me.
Wow.
So, you know, I think the shock wasn't there because the shock that should have been there wasn't because God had already told me he was giving me a way out. I just didn't know I was going to get fired.
Right.
I was thinking he's going to give me another job, right? And I was going to quit. But no, he allowed me to be terminated. But it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It really, truly was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Wow, that is so amazing. God is so amazing. He will completely do something completely unexpected. Like you would not have planned going into an annual interview and hearing that news. And it's amazing that you were able to say, look, God just catapulted me into purpose. And so in that moment, how did you feel? Were you at peace? Were you at rest? Like what was really going through your mind sitting in that office and hearing that news?
So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So like I said, at first, God told me 2 years prior to leave.
Right.
But here's what happens when God is getting ready to shift us into a new dimension, a new realm, or really make sure that we are in alignment with our destiny. The enemy doesn't just allow that to happen. Okay. So I was offered a position that made the most money I'd ever made no interview, nothing. They called me into the executive wing and said, hey, we've been watching you. Your performance has been great. We want to offer you this position. So immediately my default was, that was the devil trying to get me to leave my job, right?
Right.
But he put something in my path that made me believe that it was God doing this. And so I stayed on the job another 2 years.
Wow.
Well, right before I got terminated, everything that could have went wrong on my job went wrong. I got suspended. I'd never been suspended, had never been in any trouble, gotten suspended from my job for a mistake. And again, this is the first mistake I'd made in the 5.5 years I'd been there.
Wow.
And the people in that office, you know, people that I had prayed with, fasted for, went to bat for, got them raises, the whole 9, began to turn their back on me. So I was literally oblivious. I couldn't understand what was going on.
Right.
And so one day, you know, I was telling my husband, I said, I need to quit this job. I said, I just want to quit, because I was crying every day. I got to the point where I was crying miserable every single day. And so I prayed and I said, God, you're telling me to leave, because he reminded me again, I told you to leave. I said, well, my husband just got out of the military. We don't have any money saved. We don't have a job lined up. It would make no logical sense for my job right now, right? We know God is not logical.
Right. It's for real.
It's not logical. And so I said, God, you have to give me a way out, because even when I talked to my husband, he said the same thing. He said, well, you need to make them fire you, because if if they fire you, you can get unemployment, hold us over for a little while, blah, blah, blah. So I went back to work the next day, God, he told me, he said, I'm giving you a way out. So I'm going through the calls, because I'm a manager. I'm going through the calls. I'm looking for something else for a recorded call. God said, listen to that call. So I clicked the call. There it is. I hear the conversation of my manager at the time and the HR director talking about what they needed to do to get me terminated. So I heard the plot. God will expose you he will expose the plan of the enemy.
Yes.
However, the way she played it, I didn't know it was going to happen when it happened, right? Gotcha. So everything, she was still talking to me and everything is going normal. And so I'm thinking literally like, okay, well, at least I'll get a raise, before whatever happens. Right. But I didn't know that was the day I was going to get terminated.
Oh, my goodness.
And so when they fired me, God again reminded me that he was giving me a way out. And when they told me that they were getting ready to let me go, the requirement for me to keep my current position in management was to have a 3.0 on my review.
Okay.
They rated me a 2.98. I'm like, y'all could have gave me those.
Wow.
Like you literally could have given me the 0.2.
Right. Come on.
So, and then, they said, well, we decided to let you go, like to terminate you. I'm thinking, well, 0.2, y'all could have let me work those 0.2, get that up. But when they said it, the peace of God just really consumed me. It consumed me. And I told them, thank you. I did. I said, thank you.
Wow.
I said, I've been waiting for this day. And so they both looked shocked. And
my goodness.
It was crazy because you never know what the peace of God that surpasses all understanding feels like until you're in that moment. And I was in the moment where the peace of God that surpasses all understanding just consumed me. So I knew no matter what, I was going to be okay. I knew. Yeah. So that's what I tell people when they ask me, they say, well, how do you know when it's God? And I said, one thing about when God's hand is on it and what's a part of his plan, even in the midst of chaos, the midst of storms, the midst of you being angry or sad, I said, peace will consume you in a way that without a shadow of a doubt that everything is going to be okay. And so that's what happened. I literally was consumed with peace. I was consumed with peace. So I knew that this was God giving me the way out.
Yeah, that's so good. And that's so powerful. And I love the fact that God allowed you to see what the enemy was plotting.
Yep.
And so when they did what they did, and it made no sense, You were able to say thank you. I can just imagine in their minds racing, like, wait, what? We thought she was gonna cry, break down, curse us out. I mean, they probably thought, like, what in the world is going on? But that's so God. And I love that you said he will give you peace that surpasses understanding. That's his word. And so when that peace comes upon you, you know God is with you. And so I love that so much. That is so powerful, how God will just turn it all around. And so let's go ahead and dive into the turnaround part. So my next question for you is, what is your why behind coaching? Because coaching was something that you ended up thriving in. So what became your why behind the coaching to allow other people to see success that you had earned after that moment in time?
One thing that God does is he reminds us when we get in certain situations that we kind of we're confused about sometimes or whatever, we'll be asking God the question like, why? I don't understand, but God will always remind you of what you prayed for. So I always tell people, when something is happening in your life and it seems like chaos is breaking loose, ask God, what did I pray for?
Wow.
Right? And the reason is because I understand that when God is about to do something astronomical, when he's about to literally silence the opposer as it concerns you, all hell will start to break loose, right? It'll start breaking it loose.
Yeah.
And so again, after I quit, I kept looking for jobs. I kept looking for jobs because that's what I was comfortable with. That's what I needed to do. However, no one would call me back. Now, with the experience that I had, I should have been getting my phone. My phone should have been ringing off the hook.
Right.
But God reminded me again, something that I prayed for. And this is the part of my testimony that I tell people, that the why has to be bigger than I. Whenever you're doing anything, it has to be bigger than I. And whenever God gives you an assignment, it requires him and help. Right.
Yeah.
And so, when I was younger, when I was at the age of 10, I was raped. Okay. Wow. Twice, 2 different people, and within like a 2-month time span. And so at 10 years old, I prayed to God at 10, God, help me to make enough money that I can be at home with my children. Now, the reason I prayed that prayer is because when it happened, it was because my mom was working. My mom had to work two jobs and side hustles to, take care of us. And so she left us with people that she trusted, right? Yeah. And because she was providing for her family, her children were in a position to be attacked by a predator. Right. And so when that happened to me the second time at 10 years old, imagine 10 years old praying something like that. You don't even know anything about children, you don't know anything about, about sex or anything. But it was that moment, though, those tragic situations that gave me a drive to position myself to be able to be there for my children. Now, at the time, I did not know this is what God was doing. You know what I'm saying? He didn't allow me to get fired, right? I mean, he allowed it, but he didn't get me fired. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But again, he reminded me what I prayed for. Yeah. And so me being able to run my own business, I have my own schedule. I'm at home with my children every night.
Right.
I don't have to miss any of the important moments in their life. Yeah. And my mom, unfortunately, she had to miss everything, every award ceremony I had, every big important moment that I had growing up. My mom was working. Right. She was working. And so why I do what I do is to restore, is to create wealth or create, economic wealth and financial stability so that that mother or that father doesn't have to choose between providing for their child or protecting their child.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
when I tell people, I say it's bigger than me.
Yeah.
Because I'm fighting for every child that has to be left into the hands of someone who could possibly hurt them. I'm fighting for the mom who's living with regret because she has to go to work and her baby is sick. Now she has to leave her sick child in the hands of someone else, because if she doesn't work, she can't keep a roof over her child's head. I'm fighting for, the father, so that he won't have to go off and be, on the road for months and months at a time, because he's able to build a business that allows him to be at home with his sons. I'm fighting for those children, right? Because that's what's important to me. I know the pain, I know the aftermath, I know all of the struggles, that a child goes through something, even if it's not as tragic as what I've had to go through. The fact of a parent not being able to be present, it still has a domino impact. It has a massive impact on that child's emotional stability, their trust issues, and all of those different things. So when I'm teaching people how to build their business, that's why it's bigger than my bank account. I can work for someone and make money. It's bigger than my bank account, but I'm not. And that's what I teach people. I say, I don't help build entrepreneurs. I help birth business owners so that they can create economic wealth, so that they can create the types of salaries and schedules that allow those parents to still be parents to their children.
That is wonderful and powerful. And that is amazing that God brought you back to that moment in time when you started to build your business and desire to pour into other people. And I love that you said the why is bigger than the I. I agree with that 100%. And then I can identify with what you're saying about your mom not being able to be there, because and predominantly in most African-American homes, you will find that. And so my mom was a CNA. And so nurses, holidays, it did not matter.
It mattered.
They had to be at work. It was snowing. Everything was shut down. My dad was off, but my mom was not off from work. And so I did not realize how that affected me until later. And so in my adulthood, I started saying, man, I want to be able to work a job that when I have kids, I can really be there for my kids and different things like that. So that really touches me, that is one of your whys for what you do. That is so, so powerful. And God has recently really pressed it upon my heart about the notion of generational wealth and changing the cycles and breaking generational curses of poverty. So that is so, so powerful. So I know you are speaking to me and everyone who is on this live right now, everyone who will watch the replay, because that speaks volumes. So that is so, so powerful. So my next question for you is, how did life change after your viral video on YouTube? So you went viral on YouTube sharing your story. So how did life change? How did that adjustment really happen for you?
It was kind of surreal, because I would see people. I would be in another state. I would be in another, we were on a cruise one time and someone noticed me. I was walking through an airport in Dallas, Texas, and a young man stopped me, and he said, you look like someone I know. And I said, I said, probably not, because I'm in Texas. I'm not from Texas. And then he said, you look like this YouTube star. I said, well, what's her name? And so he said, Shamika Dean. I said, it's me. And he just started crying. He just broke out in tears. It was so surreal. And he just said, you have no idea how you saved my life.
Wow.
He said, you really saved my life. And my kids would come home and they would say, Mom, my teacher was talking about you, she sees you on YouTube, just things like that. So it was surreal. It's very surreal. It's a blessing, to know that even some of the greatest challenges in your life change other people's lives. I think you can't put a price on it. There's no value. It's literally invaluable, So, things changed, and I was just like, I don't know, because I never intended to go viral. I never set out to go viral. I didn't set out to be popular. I literally just did what I was purposed to do. That was no other motive than that. But when I just believe that when you are aligned, or a God-given assignment, that acceleration happens. And That's what I believe happened. I just aligned myself with it. And even with me going on YouTube was a story because Facebook had shut me down.
Wow. What?
Yes, yes. Facebook has shut me down. Don't know why. They said something about some promotion or something. I don't know what it was that I did. They couldn't give me exactly what it was. Shut me down. Guy kept telling me to go to YouTube. My response was, I'm not going over there because I tried YouTube back, years ago. I don't know anything about it. It's going to take too long for me to build that platform. I've been on Facebook all these years, and I just didn't want to start over. But what I realized in retrospect is that I wasn't starting over. I was aligning myself. I was just stepping in alignment, and everything else just took off from there.
Wow, that is so good. And I love that you said the mission wasn't to go viral. It was really just to do what you had purpose to do. And I love that so much, because that's what we always have to keep at the forefront of our mind as women in leadership, doing anything that God is telling us to do, that it's really about the purpose that God has created us. And you said something so important, which was like, you just can't put a price on a story. No. And so that is so true. No. The things that have changed my life the most is hearing someone's story. Absolutely. Hearing someone's story, their change, their transformation, their overcoming, their victory in the face of something that could have easily been their demise, but it wasn't. Absolutely. And so I love that so much. And that's crazy that you said Facebook cut you off for some strange reason. Yes. And God's like, this is where you need to be. And it's like,
anyways, like, wow. The nations are calling you, the nations are summoning you over here, but you're over here and you keep pouring into people that, and I'm not saying that I didn't have support on Facebook.
Right.
But the people that I was really, truly called to were on YouTube, and they had been waiting. And so that's what I tell people. I said, when you don't release your story, you literally leave people stuck, because they're looking for something. They're looking for a sound that they know that it's going to come directly from God. And that sound is in your story. It's in your voice. It's in your testimony. And so when I went to YouTube, I don't even know why God chose that particular story. It was just so weird to me. I was just like, so out of all these other videos I've done, you chose this one, right? But even the video was 17 minutes, and 7 and 1 is 8, and we know 8 is new beginning. So he was just like, I just casted you into the next dimension that I have for your life. And I mean, literally, when you obey God, he will cut time in half. He will restore the time. If you just obey him, he'll restore the time. So the things you think that you lost, that you forfeited, that you gave up on, that were stolen, when you align yourself with God's assignment, he will literally restore everything unto you. He will restore everything unto you. And so you have to ask yourself, what is my assignment? Ask him, what is my assignment for this season? A lot of us are still operating in last season's assignment. And that's why we haven't seen acceleration.
Wow.
That's why we haven't seen that favor that awaits us. That's why we haven't seen, abundance and overflow, because we're still operating in last season's assignment. So I want to, everyone that's watching, I want you to ask him, what is my assignment for this season? Because when God, the way the architecture is, we have the mantle, we have the mandate, and then we have the method. Okay. Wow. So your mantle will be prophet. You may be a prophet, right? Your mantle may be teacher. But your mandate is the assignment, though. What is your assignment in this season? And then the method is how you're going to fulfill the assignment in this season, because we are multifaceted, and God has anointed us in a very diverse way. But if we get so stuck to say, well, this is what I'm good at and this is what I do, then what happens is we limit the expansiveness that God has for us. We limit that. So again, ask him, what is my mandate? What is my assignment? And then what's the method? How do you want me to do this in this season? Because I know that I'm called to help others build and create generational wealth. I understand that. But how I do it shifts from season to season.
That's
Your
good.
climate changes. And so because I'm now aware of that, I make sure that I'm intentional about asking him, okay, how do you want me to do it this time? What do you want me to do? And what's the assignment? Because this season, it may be teach your children.
Yeah.
Focus on teaching your children. It may not be the public, right?
Right.
I have to be willing to ask him that so that I can make sure I'm always in alignment.
I love that so much. That is so good. And look, I want to show you some comments real quick because people are being blessed. Dominique, she got her hands up. Kiani said, that's so good. So people are being blessed up here. And I love, you said so many different key things. And I heard you say expansion. And I heard you say acceleration. I heard you say restoration, restoring. And I love those 3 M's: mental, mandate, method. That is so good. I love that so much. That is a gem, or those are gems, because it wasn't one thing. Those are gems to really keep at the forefront of our minds and our hearts as we continue to press forward in the different seasons of our lives. What is God doing for this season? What method is he giving us for this season? That is so, so good. I love that so much. So my next question for you is, how did you combine your faith in your business without compromise? Because that is so important.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. But you see this shirt right here? It says, God is my, let me see, I'm stand. God is my marketing strategist.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when people ask me, because I'm a strategist and I tell people, you know, I fall under the umbrella of coaching, but I identify as a strategist. So how did I do it without compromise? At the end of the day, you have to understand that God is the source and he uses resources. And so those resources may be people, you know, things or whatever. And so when I got into it, I think for me, I decided before I started. That because God is in me, taking him out of what I do was not going to happen.
That's good.
It's not going to happen. And to be completely honest, I reached out to a coach that I was going to hire to help me build my brand and things like that. And one of the very first things she told me was, you're going to have to take God out. She said, you don't have to say you're not a Christian, or you don't have to deny him, but you don't want to put this in your brand because you're going to run people off. And so if people really understand that marketing and branding is about running people off. That's what it's about.
Wow.
Because that's how you attract quality people. That's how you attract the right people. So when you're creating your brand, and this is free. I'm gonna give y'all this for free.
Come on.
But when you're building your brand and your marketing strategy, you need to clearly identify who you are, what you stand for. Because that is going to attract the type of people to you that you want to work with, that appreciate your values, and that are going to allow you to be 100% yourself as you are coaching them, providing a service, or whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
So your marketing and your branding, your brand message is going to do 2 things. It's going to compel the right ones, and it's going to repel the wrong people. So most people, we're so busy finding our ideal client that we fail to realize that identifying our ideal client is about identifying who we don't want to work with as well. It's about identifying and being solid on our foundation and what we stand for. So when people come to me, they already know they're going to know this. Okay. These scriptures are free. But these strategies are sold separately. Okay. So they're gonna get some Jesus. Right. They're gonna get some real strategy as well, to build their business. And so you have to be clear. And the reason that a lot of people don't do it is because they're afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
That's the biggest part. If you're afraid of running people off, then go get healed first before you try to build this business.
Come on. Yeah.
Let me tell you that. Go get healed first before you try to build this business. Because the moment someone comes to you and they don't agree with your belief system, you'll compromise.
Yep.
You'll compromise. And so I decided before I started that this was who I was going to be, that this is how I'm going to stand, you know? Yeah. And so I feel like I'm offering you more value than you're paying for because you're getting Jesus for free.
That's good.
And he's priceless, you know.
That's right.
He's priceless. So I'm unapologetic about my faith. I'm unapologetic about where I stand. And if you don't want to work with me because of who I believe, then I don't want to work with you either.
There we go.
There we have it.
Exactly. That's so good. That's so good. Kiani commented, she said, let them go. Let them go.
Bye-bye.
I love that so much. That was so good. You're going to compel the right people, but you'll also repel the right people or the wrong people. And I love that you said you want quality people. You want people who uphold your values, the things that you feel are necessary and important to your faith. You want those people alongside you. You don't want to compromise. So I love that so much because you're thriving in business. To hear you say that speaks volumes. It speaks volumes that you had that opportunity where people did present it to you that way and you were able to say no. Like, that's not what I'm going to do. And so I really, really love that. That's so good.
But you know, I tell people this, this too, that all money is not good money. Some money is just paid misery.
Wow.
And you can't pay me enough to be miserable. I've been there, done that. I did that for free. Okay.
Right.
So you can't pay me enough to be miserable. And so how I knew that I had really elevated to a new level is when I was turning down dollars. And, you know, when you first start, because I was there when you first start, you accept anything and anybody that comes because you need the money and you're trying to build your business, your reputation and things like that. But as you continue to evolve and you trust God on a whole new level, like I'll reject your revenue.
Wow.
Because I know that God will replace it. Like I'll reject it. You're not a good fit for me. I'm not taking your money because I need to be able to sleep peacefully at night.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bed stressed out about clients. I did that when I was working in corporate America. Okay. I run my own business now. So I'm not going to bed stressed out, you know, about clients. And so that's why even when I do any type of one-on-one work, there's a consultation first. I'm discerning in the realm of the spirit. That's the blessing about being connected to, you know, to the Father, because I can discern the spirit from a mile away. And I'm like, no, we good.
It's not gonna work.
No, straight, right? But when you are in it for the wrong reasons, or you are in business and you're operating from a place of desperation, then the dollars will make you move, right? Those dollars that make you dance, they don't make Shamika dance because I'm not in it. I'm not desperate. And like I said, I just trust God too much that if you're a $15,000 client and God says no, he'll send a $30,000 client. Like that's my mindset. You get
right.
So when I shifted that and I started turning down people and I started telling people no, then quality clients started coming to me. They aligned with my values. They were hard workers. They put in the work. I didn't have to be on their back. I gave them strategy. They implemented. And those are the type of clients that I was very, very specific about. He tells us to write the vision and make it plain. A lot of us don't. We just put paper on boards. We just glue some stuff on paper, on the poster board because it's cute.
Right.
But write the vision and make it plain. What kind of people do you want to work with? You need to apply that same principle to your business and, to those clients that you want to work with as well. So, yeah, but I just don't take money because it's offered.
That's so good. That's so powerful. And I love that you brought up the desperation piece. We have to be sure that we are not getting desperate, that we are really trusting God to truly be our source And you said that earlier, that God is the source and then he brings resources.
Yes.
So if we remember that God is the source, he will bring even better later on. And so that's exactly what you said. Hey, if I turn this one down, God's going to bring me something even better, someone even better.
Send me another one. I'm telling you, I've had it happen.
Wow.
Just last year, I had priced the package too low and God closed the door.
Wow.
And he said, until you stop settling, you'll never soar.
Wow.
Right? Until you stop settling, you'll never soar. And I said, well, God, I thought I was. He said, no, you knew you weren't. And so I closed the door. And so he closed the door. And when he closed the door, 2 days later, I booked $1 million client.
My God. Woo.
Yeah. So what God is saying is, hey, I'm trying to show you your value. Man. But if you keep taking this little piece of change over here and you keep, penny pinching, you get what I'm saying? You keep allowing yourself to be haggled and all that stuff, then all those people that I have in line with you that have the money, that are ready to pay, that see your value, they can't find you because you're under all of this rubbish.
Wow.
You're over here playing small. And so if you, again, that is for someone, I need you to catch that. Until you stop settling, you'll never soar.
Wow.
You're only stuck because you keep settling.
Wow.
I told you to raise your prices 3 times. 3 times. And you kept doing it. I'm just going to do them a favor in the name of the Lord. Let me tell you something. Your sister and brother in Christ will go pay someone else that's not saved, and they will pay them the prices that are on their price chart. So love them and send them that invoice in the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus. I love that. I love that. Ashley Price said, come on, that is good. Latoya said, man, I needed to hear this. I needed to hear this. And look, she quoted it, until you stop settling, you'll
never soar. I'm telling you, God wants to take you to a new place. He really wants you to, stop having to pray about being a 6-figure earner and see it in your bank account. He wants you to see that. Wow. He wants you to see it. He wants you to walk in it. He wants you to see the full manifestation of it. But you got to stop settling. You got to stop settling. And I'm telling you this because this is what he had to do for me. I'm walking it out. Right. I'm living it. That's what he had to do for me. And so it causes you to shift your mindset, right?
Yeah.
I talked about this on a video I did. Was it last week? Yeah, last week. And I said, if you get your mind right, you got to get your mind right, because if you don't get your mind right, you're not going to be able to manifest everything, the millions, the money that God has promised you. You won't see the full manifestation of it until your mind aligns with it first.
Right.
If you don't believe it right here, you're not going to speak it right here.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to hide it in your heart. It's not going to be in there. Right.
Yeah.
So you have to get your mind right first. So whoever it is that's been struggling, what God has shown you. You've seen the visions. The prophets have prophesied to you 1,000,000 times. You've seen it, but you still have yet to believe it. You've yet to believe it. But I'm here to tell you today that God says, yes, it is possible for you. It's actually been predestined for you, but you got to get your mind right.
Amen. Look, I received that too. Look, y'all up here, if y'all don't receive it, I know I'm receiving it, but I believe they're receiving it too. That is so, so, so good. So I want to thank you so much for doing this. This has been so powerful, so empowering, so educated. I mean, you covered everything. And so the final question, Dr. Dean, is what advice would you leave for women in leadership? What is just this final piece, like nugget, this piece of wisdom that really would start us really to start taking action now? Because sometimes we think, oh yeah, I'll get there, or I'll do it eventually. But what is something that you can give us to make us get off of this live and be like, I'm ready to work right now?
I heard Apostle John McKinney, and he said, faith has a time zone, and it's now.
My God.
And I've always taught about now faith, and I said, if you really believe it now, then why wouldn't you be acting on it now? See, faith is activated through action.
Yeah.
And so when I tell you, my kids, when I made before I made six figures, started making six figures, I would just walk through the house and just say, I'm a six figure, I make six figures a year. Like, I would just say it. And my kids initially would laugh, or they'd be like, Mom, why are you saying that? And I started changing my language. I started changing, just certain conversations that I would involve myself in and things like that. Certain things I watched on TV. Some of y'all need to turn off Lifetime because it's limiting your language.
Uh-oh.
It's limiting your language. But again, he said faith has a time zone, and it's now. And now faith is the substance. So what is that saying? It's saying that because I believe right now, then I'm going to start producing with the substance that I already have in my hand. Because I know that it's going to become evidence of the things hoped for and the things not seen. Right? So use what's in your hands right now. Stop saying, I'm going to do it. If God has told you that you're going to be a New York Times bestselling author, write a paragraph. You won't even write a paragraph. You can't become a best-selling author. You don't write a paragraph. Start a paragraph. Okay? Start there. Right? You know what I'm saying? God says, write the book, and you go on Google and you looking up how to publish the book. He said, write the book.
Write it.
When you write the book, he will send somebody to help you publish the book. You have to go the first step before you can get to the next step. And so use what's in your hands right now. I built my business with my cell phone, Wi-Fi, and a laptop. I didn't have a degree. I didn't have experience or any of that. I didn't have a following. Nobody has a large following when they get started.
Right. Right.
No one has a large email list when they get started, but they get started with what they have. And when you're faithful over few, he makes you rule over many. Before I went to YouTube, I was doing lives when I had 2 people, 10 people, 3 people. You get what I'm saying? But I was faithful over the few. I used what I had in my hands.
Right.
Okay. And I always tell people this too. I say, if you got a story to tell, you got a product to sell, because that's every millionaire out here. What do we go back and look at? How they got started.
Yeah.
Look at their story, right?
Yep.
It's their story that got them started.
Yeah.
And that story helped them develop a product or a service to sell.
Right.
So you have to examine your excuses. And I tell people this, I say, if you examine your excuses, it will reveal the reality of what you're ready for. Wow. Examine your excuses.
Wow.
Whenever God would give me an assignment and I would start saying, well, I need, I really wasn't ready for what I was praying for.
Wow.
I wasn't ready mentally.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready emotionally.
Yeah.
And so, but again, you have to eliminate, when you examine the excuses, get to the root of why you're dealing with that fear, because at the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And when you know what the fear is, God will give you a strategy to extinguish it.
That's good.
He will give you a strategy to extinguish it.
That's good.
But you got to be real about what it is you're really afraid of. For me, I know how to make money.
Yeah.
I told people I can make money in my sleep. I don't have a problem making money. But what I was afraid of was the responsibility of the next level. Wow. And the discipline that it was going to call, from me. Yeah. When I got to this next level. Yeah. I knew that when I'm at this level, Mika can't pop off like she want to pop off.
Right.
I know at this level, Mika don't have to not have road rage and not be popping off at people in Walmart because they're taking too long.
Right.
Like I know Mika's not going to be able to sit down and watch a whole season of Grey's Anatomy. Right.
Right.
You don't have to say, when you earn this season to watch, when you earn this, then you can sit down and watch Grey's Anatomy.
That's good.
So I was afraid of the discipline.
Right.
I was afraid of the discipline that it was going to cause. I was afraid of the change that it was going to cause me to change. I was afraid that I was going to have to leave some people behind, I was going to have to leave some of my A1s since day ones. I was going to have to do that. And it's not that I really left them. It's just that they weren't ready to level up.
Right.
But I couldn't stay there if
Yeah.
I was going to get where I know God had been promising me. And it's so crazy. It's because God will literally put this vision in your face and he will show you, this is what I have for you. He'll put another woman that has the similar background, similar stories, similar struggles to you, and you see her making 6, 7 figures, and he puts it there. But what the enemy does is he will start dealing with your insecurities.
Right.
Then you get intimidated. Then you don't want to follow her no more. But she was literally called to equip you so that you can make your 6 figures and your 7 figures.
Yeah.
God just only allowed you to see it so that you could know that it was attainable.
Possibly. Yep.
That's it.
That's so
good. And so what am I saying to the woman right now? Listen, use what you have in your hands right now. Ask him, what do I have in my hands right now that I can start using? If he says start a business, what do you need to do? Start the business. But no, what we say, well, I need to get a logo done and I need to get a website and I need to go and build a social media account and I need to go do da 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 da. No, he says start the business. So what's the first step of starting the business? I need to go and check with my local county and my state and see what my fees are going to be so that I can make this a legit business. So that means I can stop using Cash App.
Right.
Trying to avoid taxes. Okay. Because you're not going to be able to make 6, 7 figures and you're trying to skirt around doing things the right way.
Right. That's
so
good.
What is the thing that you need to do right now? Start a business. You can get your EIN number for free on irs.gov. It takes like 15 minutes.
Yep.
Start the business. If he says make a t-shirt, okay, that means that if he's telling you to start selling t-shirts, that means that you already have something that you can do right now to start selling them.
Right.
Because he's not going to tell you to do something and you are not equipped to execute. God doesn't work like that.
That's so good.
He doesn't work like that. So ask him what it is. When he says when he told you what to do, and you know that God said it, then there is something that you can do right now, because that's now faith.
That's so good. I love that so much. That's so good. And the comments are going crazy. I just want to let you know you are blessing the people. Lakeisha said, wow, if you have a story to tell, you got a product to sell, that is powerful. Casey says, yes, I have now. I am getting ready. I think this is Leticia said, when we not ready to walk in our purpose, God will let us know. He will put an assignment over our head. And when he is ready, he will release our fear. That's good. And Kiani said, look, that's good. That's good. Latoya said, yes. And the uncertainty, dealing with all of that. Look, you are allowing people to change their mindset, change their perspective, and really get a glimpse of, man, I really needed to hear this because I didn't realize this is where I was mentally. What God has been telling me to do. Corey said, now faith. That's good. Hi, Corey. That's my husband. And Dominique said, there's something that I can do right now.
Yes, we have too many things at our fingertips. He says, use what's in your hands, use what's in your house. And we know the story of the widow woman when she thought she didn't have anything, but it wasn't until she started pouring what she had that she realized she had an overflow. You know what I'm saying? When you start giving, that's why you can't be afraid to give what God has given you, because when you give, he causes overflow to happen. That's what giving does. It unlocks. So when you give of your gifts, when you give of your talents and your skills, God is going to give you more to give, because what happens is he begins to expound and expand. But if you don't use the gift, it cannot make room for you.
Wow.
It can't make room for you. But when you start using that thing, he's going to show you more and more of what's in you. I did not start out as a business coach. I started out speaking on relationships. I didn't start out as a business coach. And then I started relationship. I published my book first, and then I became a coach. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
My book came out first, and then I started coaching. Okay. And from relationship coaching, I started doing relationship and purpose. And from purpose, I went into business coaching. So I didn't start out where I am, but I used what I had at the time. And God was showing me everything else that was already inside of me. It's nothing new. It's already inside of you.
Right.
Just that you haven't put to use what's inside of you. So you really don't see the rest of what's inside of you. You don't see the depth of what's on the inside of you. We're
Yeah.
like a well. And he tells us,
Oh,
listen, we won't run dry. We won't thirst again. If we just literally, when we drink of his water, we pour a little of that water into somebody else and get,
yes.
we keep growing and fertilizing
Come
everything that's
on.
already on the inside of us. So that's what I need you to understand. Use what's in your hands, and God will literally expand it. He will expand it.
Amen. That is so, so good. And I love that you said giving unlocks. Giving
Yes,
unlocks.
it
That's
unlocked.
so, so good. So, ladies up here, maybe some men have popped on too, but my ladies up here, look, Dominique said, ouch. She said, ouch. So, I'm just saying, this has been so, so powerful, so, so impactful. So, you all make sure that you can continue to connect with Dr. Shamika Dean. Before we finish up, I like to pray before we get off. But before we do that, if you could just share with them how they can connect with you, even some of the services that you offer, how they can connect with you, that would be great, because they are being blessed and they need to connect with you. And I know I'll be connecting with you too more. So just tell everyone how they can connect with you.
Awesome. Well, I'm on all social media platforms, Shamika Dean or Dr. Shamika Dean on all social media platforms. And what I have coming up is July 15th. I have CreatorCon, which is the ultimate success strategy for selling out an online event and making thousands. This is a high level intensive, so I only have a few slots left because it's a high level intensive. It's hands-on. I'll be showing you how I sold out my event and how to create it from beginning to the end. So all of the back office tools, resources, you'll walk away with a marketing strategy, a content strategy. You'll walk away with my speaker's proposal as well as my vendor proposal as well. And so again, it's a high level intensive. So I only have, I think, I don't know, maybe 4 slots.
Wow.
Because it's a high level intensive. And so it is for the person, because, you know, the price point is gonna really make you say, okay, yeah, I got to do this. I want to do this. But the value that you get is amazing. And then in August, it'll be open enrollment for my business academy, which is Next Level Business Academy. So we'll be opening up enrollment for that. And those are the only 2 things I have coming up so far. My website is shamikadean.com. And again, you can follow me on all social media platforms. I step on toes, though. I'm just going to let you know.
Look, we already experienced a little bit. You heard the ouch in the comments. We saw the ouch in the comments, but we liked it. Look, it was an ouch, but it was like it was a needed ouch. So we are okay. So this has just been truly, truly amazing. Thank you so much for giving us just a little bit of your time to share with us who you are and what you're about, and really empower us as women to basically have that mindset shift, right? To think through the method, to think through the mandate, and, you know, all of those different things. You have just released so much good information that we really can take with us and go now. And that's the key. Now, start now. What's in your hand? I love that so much. That was just a perfect way to wrap things up. So without further ado, I would love to just pray really quickly, and then we'll be all done. All right. So, Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, we just thank you for this time together. God, we thank you even for during this live, how much Shamika Dean poured into us. God, thank you for everyone who is tuned in. And God, I pray that the words that were released, God, that they would never be the same, that when they get off of this live, it won't be like any other time where they heard something that push them, but they didn't move. But God, I pray that this push, that this release causes movement, causes the action that is necessary for them to go from one level of living, one level of thinking, one level of perspective to the next. And God, not even just them, but me too. God, I put myself in the equation. God, in the name of Jesus, I thank you right now. And God, I pray for Dr. Shamika Dean. God, I pray that you would just continue to overflow in her life. God, continue to let the abundance, God, just overtake her life. God, continue to show her, God, as she no longer settles, God, and showed us to no longer settle. God, continue to just do great and mighty things in her life. God, we bless you. We honor you for her life, for her standards that she's kept. God, thank you, God. Continue to bless her just for being willing to do it your way, to be that God strategist, God, the God-like strategist. So God, we just honor you, we bless you, and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen and amen.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
God bless you. Truly, this has been amazing. Truly,
Thank you.
truly.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. We will talk to you soon. Also, if you believe that this will bless someone else, make sure you share. Okay. All right. Bye, everyone. Talk to you soon.